Hello everybody, this is Captain 12B from the ECR, and I'm here today to talk about a new way I've found of wiring the wick for my Oddyseus. Now, I've had the Oddyseus for quite some time, and it's been my primary atomizer. I love the rebuildables. Haven't been buying any Addies or Cardos in quite some time, but I have been plagued with constant harsh hits from the Oddyseus. It's very frustrating that I can't get the thing to feed and keep it properly juiced up without flooding it or running it kind of on the lean side. Really wasn't quite as apparent to me how badly it was performing until I got the VV Nova. Now the VV Nova cost me 15 bucks, performs flawlessly, rebuilds in a second. I've really enjoyed the performance I get from the VV Nova, and I got $200 wrapped up in my Oddyseus, and I'm ready to shelve it and use the VV Novas that I've now gotten. But I like the Oddyseus. I like the dial it in. I like the looks of it. So I was trying to figure out what could I do to make my Oddyseus perform on par with my VV Nova. And it occurred to me that part of the problem could be the way that the wicks run down the channels and have that 90-degree bend in the ceramic there. And that bend was actually cutting off the juice flow and not letting it feed the way the VV Nova feeds. So trying to figure out how to get around that, I've come up with a new way of wiring and setting up my wick. Instead of having the long tails that run down into the channel, I've doubled the wick over, and here's a already set up wick ready to go in my Oddyseus. It's double the thickness. I've got 2 layers of wick there. Nothing's going to go down the channels, and it's all set up with my resistant and non-resistant wire. Now the first time I did this, I simply laid it in and made sure that when I made my positive connection that I pulled tight enough on my negative side that kept the positive connection deep in the ceramic well so it could not make contact with the locking nut on there and prevented any shorting. I don't know what would happen if it did make contact, but I wanted to avoid that. On this new way of doing it, I've taken a coffee stirrer and cut it about 2/3 of the way, the length to fit up 2/3 of the way up the ceramic from the base. And after I've cut my section off, I split it down the middle so that I can roll it up and make it a little thinner so it'll fit down in that channel nice and not raise up and get hung up on the locking nut. So let's put this thing together and I'll show you how it works. What I'm going to do is take part of the my positive side, which I want to use as the positive side, and run it through that straw that I've put in my ceramic well there. Lay it down nicely so that both wicks extend out both sides. Sitting nicely in the well, positive side is running through that coffee stirrer, and then I just simply wire it up like I normally would. Give it a nice tight down. Break it off. So that is set. Now I'm going to pull my negative side down to get the wires well out of the way. Push everything in so that nothing's sticking up. And when I'm happy with the way the wick and the wires are all laid in there, I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'm going to cut the wick flush with the threads on both sides. Clean it up a little bit. Yeah, just like that. Now that it's cut, make sure the negative wire is pulled down nicely. I'm going to run that locking nut over the top of it, hold everything in place. And it goes right over that coffee stirrer. So that's all in there. Now you can see that instead of having a bend, the juice is going to feed directly down the channels in that wick. And it's a thicker wick, so it allows me a little bit more control to prevent flooding. Everything stays nice and wet in there, and you just finish building it like you normally would. I don't put it on the mod first. What I do is just screw it down. Until I see the positive post extend out just a hair from the center. And then I know I'm in a good spot for my Pro Vari. It'll be nice and happy. tighten down the negative connection. Wiggle the wire off. We're going to put it on the Provary and see how we've done. Got some DIY Perfumer's Apprentice RY4. Give a nice prime to my wick. Make sure it fires. Give it a little prime and we'll check the resistance on it. See that there, but it's 2.2. Now that I have that done, I'm going to put my extended center post mouthpiece on the Oddyseus, on my extended tank on it. Give it a fill. Now the one downside to this mod is that it will now be a very thirsty Addy. I go through probably twice the juice consumption I was running it the other way, but again it's feeding properly, which means that it's giving a nice smooth, not harsh, but plenty of throat hit, nice flavor. So let's see how it vapes. Give it a little turn to get the juice flowing. Much better performance than I was getting the standard way of doing it. I think I flooded a little bit when I primed it. Blow it out here. There we go. So there you go. A different way of wicking the Oddyseus that I really think improves the performance. No longer am I getting that harsh hit. I am able to control the flow of juice better, and I'm not flooding the Addy. So if you're having trouble with harsh hits, this might be the solution to your problem. You might want to give it a try. Thanks.